What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another video. In this video, we're going to be talking about things I wish I knew in high school. So, of course, whenever you're young, you feel like you know it all. You feel like you got life figured out because all you do is you wake up, you go to school, you play sports, you're in clubs, you're going to, different, different games, you're in different friend groups, whatever the case is, right? But the thing is that there's so much more that I wish I knew in high school while I was trying to grow up. And one of those is I wish that I knew the importance of truly working hard. There's two people in school. You got those people that's rather trying to ace all of their classes. They're working hard. They're in the AP classes. People are staying up late, trying to do homework, trying to be the best in their class, to do like all the tests. And then you got the other person that's barely getting by. They're barely doing the homework. They barely even understand what's going on. You barely put in like the effort that you need to for the classes, and then you try to make it up at the end when you only have like a 72 in the class. And that was the thing for me. Like, I was really strong with like math and English, but I wasn't really strong in like history and science. Like, I just didn't really care for it, to be honest. And so, and I think it also like plays a role into the teacher, because I wasn't really like interested. Like, they didn't make it intriguing. It was a bunch of lectures. You just get up there, you talk about what happened in history, you talk about these years, you talk about these presidents, whatever the case is, and it just didn't really catch my attention. But I was a mix of both of those, and when it came to trying to find what I wanted to put my focus on, trying to understand what it really took for me to like get to the next level in life, I realized that the principles come from school. The principles come from the classwork. The principles come from, how much you want to be able to pass the grade, how much you're willing to put the work in. And it sounds very like contradicting, because you're like, well, it's just homework. It's just like trying to, get a good grade so that you can impress your teachers or that you can impress your parents. But it's about the work ethic behind it. It's about when you show up to practice and you don't want to be at practice, but yet you still show up every day. And for me, like, to be honest with y'all, when I was in school and I was doing football and I was in like the PT, or not PT, but like, how like the off season, how like you would always be training and, because you're preparing for the next season. And to be honest, y'all, I was so lazy in that I would skip practice. I would try to have an excuse of like why my leg was hurting, right? Because in my freshman year, I broke my leg. And so I would try to use that excuse in like my sophomore year and be like, oh, it's just feeling a little achy today. It feels like I need to like sit out today. I need to go to PT, right? Whatever it took for me to like really not go to practice. And the work ethic behind that came with a lot of like laziness. Basically, I would be able to skip practice and everyone would be out there working, getting better. And here I am, rather in the locker room, I'm in PT, I'm in the field house, and I'll be like being lazy, to be honest with y'all. And I just really wish that I understood the principles of hard work, to kind of wrap all of that up, because that's really where it starts at. A lot of people don't understand that it starts with there. It starts, whether you're in sports or not, being in school comes with hard work, and it gets harder as you go to college. It gets harder as you go to universities and you want to level up in different bachelor degrees and everything like that. So that's really the principles. One of the principles that I wish I knew. Like, it's going to take hard work to accomplish anything in life. In high school, it was so simple. Your schedule was made out for you. You wake up, you go to school, you wake up, you try to go to, different class periods, you go to lunches, right? Everything is all scheduled for you. And then you start to get in the real world and you can start trying to figure life out, and you're like, okay, I got to make my own schedule, or like I'm working this other job and like I got to figure out what really works for me there. But it's still the same principles. You got to put in the hard work for you to be great. That's one of the things that I wish I knew going into high school. Of course, you're like taught that by your parents, but like when you're in high school and when you're young, you're like, yeah, whatever my parents talking about. Like, I don't know what y'all trying to tell me right now. I just feel like I'm gonna do my own thing and I'm gonna just move how I want to move. But like, if you're in high school and you're watching this, as you're going through your day-to-day basis, like, understand the principles of yourself in the things that you're doing. If you're in a book club, you're in a chess club, you're in sports, whatever the case really is. If you're the person that's in AP classes trying to be the best, like, these principles that you're taking with you throughout your high school career, just understand that it's going to have effect after you graduate, after you reach the point where it's like, they call your name, they give you your diploma, and you walk across the stage. Now you have to go and try to figure out the real world and figure out how to apply those things. So that was one of the first things I would say. Second thing I would say is making sure that I'm investing my time in the right things. I wasn't really a big club person. Like I tell you guys, I don't smoke and I don't drink, and I still haven't. It's just about making sure that I utilize my time correctly. I was always at work, and then if I wasn't at work, I'd be at home and I'd be playing the video games or whatever. And it's weird to say this because as a kid, you don't want to do all these things. You don't want to grow up too quickly. You want to enjoy the time as a kid, which I definitely agree with. But at the same time, if you want to set yourself up to be in the next level type of position outside of all your classmates and your teammates, then you have to stand out and do different things. So I wish that I was learning about stocks and investing. I wish that I was learning about real estate. I wish that I was really learning about the mindset of what it really took for you to get to the next level. I wish that, I was more athletic, right? I wish that I was more active. If you analyze your life right now, and then in the future, you're going to be like, man, I wish that I did this. I wish that I was in this position, And I used to hear it all the time, man, you should play football for all your 4 years because when you finish, you're going to wish that you didn't stop. And I don't regret not playing football or really anything like that. I think it was more the active side, the more so trying to make sure I was consistent in me working out or me just staying productive, and how that would really set me up for the future. And I think that in those cases, like I said, I would always back out. I would always have an excuse. I'd hide in the locker room just so that I wouldn't go to practice. And I think that also stemmed from fear that I would also hurt my leg. So I had a lot of fear with that, which is why I would be oh, well, let me go to PT, or let me not lift super heavy. Let me not max out my potential. And it came with a lot of fear for my leg in that specific aspect, excuse me. But yeah, I wish that I just had gained more skills, more skills to be able to know how to communicate, my skill set to be able to know, like I said, investing, real estate, the key things in life that have a lot of money and a lot of value to the rest of the world. I wish that I had been able to start building that when I was in high school. I also wish that I understood the value of connections. A lot of people, they meet people, you have a lot of friends in high school, and then they kind of fade after you after you graduate or after you move on to another state because you went to a different college. I wish I understood the value of connections and actually building a connection with people, because a lot of people, they're just acquaintances, right? You see my school, and this is what I also learned. You're just going to see people at school, and they're kind of a part of routine. For me, again, going back to football, I would see certain people, the popular kids, the low life kids, or whatever, right? And I'd be okay, well, I see y'all because it's just a regular thing. I see y'all practice, I see y'all working out, but I never built a connection with them. I never had a relationship with them. And the thing is that I kind of wish I did differently was that I was actually more personal with these people to actually know them. And the reason I also said that is, so first off, I actually know who I'm interacting with, who I'm around, but also because down the road, life runs on connections. Life runs on trying to find people that, that if you know somebody, you never know who they know to put you in another position. You never know what type of position that you could put them in if you really knew them, and you start learning that as you go down the road. As you start trying to really connect with people, you start showing up to different events, you start going to different functions, and then you start actually meeting people. And that's when you start understanding the value of connections. But I wish that I did do that in high school. Connections was one of the things I think I lacked in. I was always I was the popular loner, People knew me or people knew of me, but they didn't know me personally. They probably just knew me as like, oh, that's so and so's boyfriend, because like I said, I was in a relationship for 4 years. So it was like, oh, that's so and so's boyfriend, and like he's in football, she's in another sport, and they're like this power couple, right? Yeah, so it just came with a bunch of like the popular learner things. Like, people would see me in class and they're like, oh, like you're the cool guy, like, you're the friendly guy, right? And that's really all it was. It was just like what people saw of me or what people thought of me. It wasn't like they actually knew who I was. So I think that's one of the key things, that like if you're in high school, maximize your connections, maximize the people that you're around, because you never know what type of position you could put them in or what position they could put you in. And moving on with life, you're going to understand that connections are very, very, very important, and making sure that you're around the right people to put you in any type of position that you need to. All of a sudden, this person, they're going to a big event, they're going to this big conference, and they want to invite you, and they bring you to a big, a room of big name people, and you would have never been in that room if you didn't know this person, and just understanding really what that fully looks like, to know the potential positions that you could be in to really elevate your life. So that's really like the simple things that I would say. I just wish that I knew while I was in high school. Connections, really skill sets, really understanding like the skills that I need for life. And then, like I said, the work ethic, the motivation, the mindset side of it. If you're the type of person that's trying to grow and trying to elevate and trying to be the person that stands out from the rest of your class, I think that you should do all three of those. Be the person that has a connection with a lot of people. Be the person that is really friendly and the really outgoing person. If you feel like you're on the shy side, try to just extend it out to the people that's like at your table, in school. Try to extend it to like the friend groups. Try to extend it out to, in school you guys have, what is that, like a work group, a group that you're working on a project with. Like, try to really expand yourself in that type of like group. Start becoming more personal with whatever you're working on, so that people actually know who you are and you can know who other people are, and build those connections. And that's also going to take work ethic. It's also going to take you to, make sure that you show up on time, make sure that you show up for your practices, that you show up for classes on time, time management, making sure that you're in class and you're actively learning. You're not the person that's distracting the entire class, trying to be a class clown. Work ethic is going to go a far and a long way. And you can also just see how it reflects on your GPA. You can see how it reflects on your grades. You can see how it reflects in how you show up for yourself in the tough times, like everything. So work ethic and your mindset is very, very, very key. So work ethic, connections, and of course, being able to have the right skills to put you in whatever position that you want to be in. Being able to be the person that's like, look, I know somebody that, well, I guess that's connections, but, I can actually help you with any type of stock that you need to invest in. We're young, we're trying to figure out how to make money. So here's a stock that I think you should invest in. Real estate. Yeah, my dad's in real estate, and so I'm learning about it. Yeah, so I want to get my real estate license, and I want to start doing wholesaling. I want to start doing Airbnbs. I want to start getting into these different lucrative skills that I can be able to use down the road. I want to be able to communicate with a bunch of people. Whenever you're presenting a class project, think about it as you're using a skill of learning how to talk to a mass of people. Think about the skills that it takes for you to even stand up there. How are you standing? How are you projecting yourself? Are you looking shy? Are you talking timid? Are you just looking at the project? Are you just looking at the board to read off the screen? Do you know what you're talking about? Are you talking with confidence? Things like that. Those come with skills that you don't even realize that you're using, but you're utilizing them to really build them. It starts in a classroom, but it could go to a room of 10,000 people. It can go to the top board meeting. It could go to, you talking to your whole family about something. It could be at any scale, but it's a skill level that you're learning and that you're adapting. So, making sure that you're learning skills and that you're finding the skills in your everyday basis, and then moving from there. So those are just some things that I realized that I wish I knew in high school, and that I really focused on, because I think they really could have got me to the next level had I like really focused on them. And yeah, that's just some of the things that I got for y'all. But that's gonna wrap up this video, y'all. Follow me on socials, King Malone, as you guys already know. Like the video and subscribe to the channel for more. I'm always going to be having more content on a consistent basis, y'all. But yeah, I will catch y'all in the next video. Go home.